You're now listening to Figure It Out, a custom 1/6 figure podcast dedicated to those who recognize work of excellence. And now, here's your host, Stiff Richards.
What is going on, guys? Stiff Richards here, back again. Sunday, beautiful Sunday out over in Minnesota. Your boy Stiff's been day drinking. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but it will be all right. So, ever since I started this podcast, the first podcast that I ever came out with, I had multiple people. I'm talking a dozen people, 15 people, all contact me. They're like, dude, you got to do Cheung Kinmen. You got to do Cheung Kinmen. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta call up Johnny. I want to hear what Johnny's got to say. So, with that being said, obviously, we have none other than Johnny Jerome Cheung Kinmen in the house right now. Stiff Richards, Figure It Out, episode number 10. Johnny, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Johnny Cheung Kinmen is in the building. Long overdue. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine, man. How are you?
Everything is good. I'm great. It's really
Awesome.
cool to finally talk to you, dude. It's really cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's been a while because we've been chatting about doing this interview, and well, I apologize for.
We're both busy. We're both
schedule.
busy.
I've been very busy, and our schedule didn't match up in a lot of time. So I'm happy to do this. This is my actual first interview in English. So English is not my first language. So I apologize if I stutter or something like that.
No. When I first called you, like I said, I was like, so your first language is English, huh? And you have a very interesting story, actually. We were talking the other day. I actually thought that you were, for some reason, I think somebody else told me, but somebody told me that you were from South Korea. And, since K. Joon's in South Korea and Rain Man and all these other big time artists, I didn't really think about it. I just thought, I just figured. Yeah, but you live in Costa Rica. Your first language is Spanish, and you're
Spanish, yes.
You're Chinese, you said?
I'm Chinese, yeah.
And your hometown is in Costa Rica. That's where you grew up.
In Costa Rica, yeah. My parents migrated here, 40 odd years ago. And
wow.
Well, I was born here. Yeah. It's really weird because many people always confuse me. Always think that I'm, Korean or someplace else. But when I say I'm from Costa Rica, they say, "What? You're from Costa Rica?" And an Asian guy from Costa Rica speaking, English and Spanish. It is weird.
it drew me for a fucking loop. Like I was like, damn,
Yeah.
That's really cool though. My buddy actually spent 6 months in Costa Rica studying abroad,
nice.
And you guys, there's some areas over in Costa Rica where you will just get your fucking ass beat. My buddy got robbed like four fucking times. I was like, God damn, by gun and all that shit. So you're out of the harm's way, right? You're not in the ghettos.
Oh no, I'm not. But Costa Rica has some very pretty dangerous places. Especially for tourists.
Yeah.
So I'm in a good place.
you're in a safe zone. You're in the safe area. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So Spanish is your first language. You were born and raised in Costa Rica, and Spanish. That's what Costa Ricans speak, huh? I suppose.
Yeah. Well, my Spanish is my first language. English could be my second language, and I do also speak Chinese. Well, Cantonese.
Man, so you're bilingual, as they say.
Trilingual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not. So we're gonna let's talk about figure time toys. Yeah. You're an amazing artist, obviously, as everybody loves your work. So how long have you been an artist in general? Like not just 1/6 or hobby related shit, but like in general, how long have you been an artist?
Oh man, that's a very interesting question. Let, let me start by saying that I used to collect, hot toys, no, not hot toys, Toy Biz, action figures, X-Men action figures,
Yeah.
those 6 figures. I bought my first figure in 1996.
Wow. How
And
old? How
when I
old
was,
are you?
man, I'm 38.
38. Old man, huh?
Yeah.
So you bought your
Yeah,
first. You bought your first action figure in '96.
Yeah, I bought my first my figure in '96. Then by the 2000s, I started customizing those figures because those companies never release very obscure characters, and I have a knack for obscure characters.
Right.
So I started piecing together figures and sculpting little boots and stuff like that for those figures. So then I picked up, model kit painting, painting Gundams and resin kits and military models. That's when I started, developing my painting skills. If I can say it. Then, I sold my collection. There was a time that I was actually bored with all those figures because I just entered my room, my collecting room, and it was like a toy store.
Oh,
And,
really?
yeah, it looked like a toy store. And I don't know, there were so many figures, and it was hard to clean them in a way. So I sold all my figures, and I found out that Hot Toys made a Michael Jackson Thriller figure.
Ooh.
By then, I bought it with the extra money I got, and that's when I started browsing, the internet about 1/6 figures, and I stumbled upon Sideshow Freaks,
Oh.
and had the custom section of Sideshow Freaks, and that actually opened my, my mind, about really getting into sculpting.
So were you a sculptor? But you said you were sculpting boots, but before Sideshow Freaks, were you ever trying to sculpt like head sculpts or whatever, or did that kind of light the fire?
No, before Sideshow Freaks, I didn't, I wasn't sculpting at all. I did, like I said, boots and hair and accessories for the figures,
Right.
but never actually sculpting, but after Sideshow Freaks, I saw people doing portraits and stuff like that, and I said, well, this is something that I want to explore, and it's when I started. I picked up sculpting, seriously.
And you're a traditional sculptor. You don't do any 3D stuff, correct? Or do you?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh no! Right now, I am actually doing 3D now.
You are doing 3D. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that. So a lot of people say that aren't artists, or at least they say, oh, 3D printing's a lot easier. Any Joe Schmo can just buy a program and start 3D printing. Is that the case? Which one is harder in your opinion?
Okay, there's it's a very very controversial topic.
Yeah.
Obviously, traditional is harder to master in a way because you aside from knowing how to sculpt the anatomy, you need to know which clay you should use because there are a lot of types of clay. There's a water-based clay, oil-based clay, wax-based clay. There's epoxy putties. There's a lot of type of materials and for different type of sculpting.
Interesting.
You have to, aside from that, you have to know how to know the anatomy. In ZBrush, the thing about ZBrush is that it is not an easy tool to use. Many people say that it is easier and it's the computer is doing the work, but it's actually not that true. It is very convenient. It is a very convenient tool because it can get you start working on a portrait a little faster.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it traditionally, you have to build the armature and the structure of the portrait, by hand, and you have to knead a little bit of clay each time, and and start taking measurements and stuff like that. And it takes a lot of time. I personally, when I do it traditionally, it always takes me, like 2 or 3 days to have a surface that I can start, working on.
Damn.
In ZBrush, you can do it. It's there. I mean, you can start working on it in a few seconds. You don't have to deal with clays. You don't have to deal with gravity. You don't have to deal with anything else but, the pixels in the computer.
Wow.
Now I do have to say it is very convenient tool. It is faster, to set up, faster in many ways, but you still have to know how to sculpt. You still have to know anatomy, to make a good portrait. Many people there's a tool that is called symmetry in ZBrush. You sculpt one part of the face, and the computer mimics the other part of the face. Mm-hmm. So it cuts the time of sculpting almost in half, or it's faster. It's faster. Yeah, but a very good sculptor knows how to break the symmetry. Because the portraits are not always symmetrical. Huh. So you have to a very good artist knows where to break symmetry, where to give it a little bit of soul to the portrait. I don't know if that's
it makes sense. Like if a head sculpt is like smirking on one side, you can't symmetry the shit because it would be smirking on the other side or whatever. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how long have you been 3D printing? Like, when did you pick up the ZBrush shit?
I actually last year I was in the beginning of 2019. I started learning the tool because, well, you actually have to, as an artist, you have to know the technologies, what's available as an artist to express yourself. So I said, okay, well, it's a very awesome tool. I've seen a lot of great work out there. And I've seen a lot of bad work out there, because just because you know how to use it doesn't mean you know. So, I just wanted to learn it and see what's going on with it. And, it actually, I personally say it actually helped me a lot, because traditionally speaking, since I learned by myself, I don't have an academic background on it. I actually
you're
my
self-taught.
traditional. Yeah, I'm self-taught. So I there's a lot of stuff that I still don't know how to do it perfectly. Mm-hmm. Traditionally speaking, and I reached the ceiling, so to speak. Yeah, with that ceiling, it's kind of a plateau, and you need to practice every day, or receive positive criticism, constructive criticism from your peers, and to grow out of that ceiling. And I actually, because I'm self-taught and I don't actually know many artists out there, to give me a feedback in that sense, I reach a ceiling. Now, ZBrush helped me overcome a little bit that ceiling, because since it is faster to work, you can see your errors, quicker. Right. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Because when you're sculpting traditionally, if you make the nose a little bit longer down the face, mm-hmm. for example, and you sculpt around that nose, it's going the details and the human anatomy around that nose is going to be wrong, especially if you're going to make a likeness.
Damn.
And changing the nose. If you see, okay, the nose is a little longer, and you change it, when you step back and see the portrait again, man, the rest of the details is out of place, and you have to fix it again, fix the nose, fix the mouth, the eyes, and it is a very
sounds frustrating.
It is very frustrating, man. It is very frustrating. It is very laborious. I don't know if that's a word.
I don't think that's a word, but it sounds good.
Okay, it's very, very a lot of work. A lot of time. it's a lot of work, and I personally get frustrated every time I'm making likeness. It is a very frustrating process. Now with ZBrush, you just move the mouth up, and that's it. You don't have to carve the clay. You don't have to carve the nose out and resculpt it. In ZBrush, it is faster like that because you can just move the details around.
So now that you know ZBrush and 3D, will you ever go back to traditional sculpting, like face wise, like head sculpts? I mean, maybe you'll traditionally sculpt accessories or other shit, but now that you're learning ZBrush, and we'll talk about Mrs. Doubtfire in a little bit because I know that was ZBrush, right? That was 3D, but it's beautiful. I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. But now that you know the ZBrush and the 3D printing shit, would you ever go back to the traditional stuff?
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. I'm going. I will go back to traditional. I still make stuff traditional ways, but for likenesses, to me, it is faster. When I'm making it in ZBrush instead of by hand. I still do stuff by hand. I don't know how to explain it, but there's stuff that you have to actually put your hand and clay on the sculpt to fix, and I still do stuff traditionally, but I'm leaning a little bit to digital these days.
As this hobby progresses, and this hobby, in 10 years from now, I'm pretty sure every single artist is probably going to be doing some sort of 3D printing, or 3D sculpting. Yeah. So you gotta, if you're gonna be an artist in this game, and you got to keep up to a certain degree with the next man. And a few years ago, I started seeing my favorite artists. Like, we'll go over your favorite artists. I'm very interested to hear. But I saw like Rain Man and stuff. He started 3D sculpting and all that shit. And he's like a pro sculptor. Like, he's a teacher. Yeah. But I don't know where. I think that in 10 years, all of this shit is going to be ZBrush and 3D sculpting and printing and all that. I don't know. Where do you see the hobby? If you had to predict in 10 years, do you think that the custom 1/6 figure hobby is going to be relevant, or like how do you feel about it?
I mean, in terms of sculpting, everything is moving to digital nowadays. When we're talking about sculpting for collectibles in general, like for big companies, like Sideshow and stuff like that.
Dude, that shit, like, honestly, I don't mean to cut you off, but that shit stresses me out because I have a friend that I grew up with. I went to high school. The guy's like a fucking drug addict, and he's like a real piece of shit. And the other day, he posts a video on Facebook. He's like, got my 3D printer, and he's fucking printing out like Baby Yodas and fucking like Funko Pops and shit in his basement. The guy's got like 12 teeth. He's just a pile of shit. And I'm sitting there panicking like, oh man, if this fucker can do it, obviously it's a lot different to do a pre-made, preset Baby Yoda to a Mrs. Doubtfire from scratch. But if that fucker's doing it...
Yeah, the thing about that is that because of 3D printing and ZBrush, there's a community of artists that make sculptures, and they sell them for cheap, and everybody can buy it and print them themselves. They upload it in a website, and they sell it for $5 a download.
Oh, so they're $5 like a download. So you buy it and you get like a download code or some shit, and you just put it in your machine.
Yeah, you download the file and you can print it yourself. And that's unfortunately that.
I hope that shit doesn't get like too popular. Like, pretty soon, like, dude, in 10 years, we're going to be like, hey, you guys want to get on this pre-order? I'll send you the download link. We're all going to have 3D printers, and they're just going to, fucking artists aren't even going to sell figures anymore. They're just going to sell download codes, and we'll be all depressed.
Yeah, well, I personally, I won't go that way. I value my work too much to sell it for $5. I personally won't do that, but many people might because they sell it for $5, and you got 100 persons buying a download. He already have $500, and that's that's to them maybe it's very good money, but you're wasting your. I think that they're wasting their time by selling it for cheap. I don't know.
I don't think that people are always going to want stuff directly from the artist. And, like when Redman came around, everybody's like, oh no, all of our Mini-Me and Rain Man shit's going to be worthless. And it's like, not really, because the people that buy Rain Man wouldn't buy Redman, and the people that are buying that Redman shit, they wouldn't buy Rain Man. So I believe that, obviously there's going to be assholes that are like, hey, I'm doing a run of $5 a download. But there's always going to be guys such as myself who's going to want figures from the artist such as yourself. Now, you being an artist, I got to ask, who is your favorite artist in 1/6 custom figures? Who do you look up to the most?
Okay. This is a very good question. I actually, when I started, in the Sideshow Freaks forum, I looked up to Rain Man, and I still look up to Rain Man. He's the first one that comes to my mind. He taught me a lot. Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't speak to him. We don't chat that often nowadays.
Right,
he's very busy.
Blitzway, bro. He's working at Blitzway.
Yeah, working at Blitzway, and I really don't want to bother him, with my questions, and but I look up to Raymond in a way, but I actually also look up to many 1/6 artists. I don't have just one. I mean, I appreciate what everyone is doing. K. Jung, Scott Peterson, and Adam Gu, and Kojung, everyone. I look up to everyone. I actually consider myself a student of the arts, and I look up to everyone. I always look up their work, look at their work for inspiration.
You're a very humble character, bro. You're very humble dude.
No, well, I know what I am, and I still have a lot to learn, and I try to learn. I try to be an open book and learn from everybody. But if I have to put a name on who's my favorite or who I look up to, I can say Raymond, because he was the one.
Sorry, I just like these buttons.
He was the first guy, the first artist that I approached and learned from him.
So he gave you some tips, you're saying?
Yeah. He gave me some tips, and we. Yeah. That's it. He gave me some tips and advices and stuff like that. That inspiration, to do what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Do you collect anything? Do you have a 1/6 figure collection?
I used to collect, when I started, in the Sideshow Freaks forum, I did collect hot toys. But not at the moment. I actually stopped collecting.
You keep every one of your figures, though, right?
Yeah, I keep every one of my figures. Yeah,
even the fucking Undertaker that you won't sell me, bro.
yeah, even that.
Bro, your Undertaker is sick, bro. I grew up. And I was I was part of the Ministry of Darkness. I was into it, bro. Man. And when I saw you did that, I panicked, and I didn't realize it was a one-off. So,
yeah.
Shout out to my buddy with the piece. But yeah, if you ever I'm gonna sell my Undertaker, you already know who you need to hit up, because I need your Undertaker. What is your favorite out of all the runs? Now, we're not talking one-offs and shit. Out of every figure run that you've done, what figure run are you most proud of, and what figure run would you take back and make adjustments to?
Actually, the most proud is my Freddie Mercury.
Hey, yeah, I was going to mention that too. Everybody wants to say, oh, the reruns this, the reruns that. Like, for the record, Johnny Cheung Kinmen, how do you say your name? Everybody wants to know that too. Just say it real quick.
Just like you do it, Cheung Kinmen.
Cheung Kinmen. Okay, so I'm good. So Johnny was the very first to do my main man, Freddie Mercury. Now, how long ago did you make Freddie?
Oh man, I actually forgot. Maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe
it's been a while, but that's your prized figure run.
Yeah, because it is actually my first full set figure that I ever made. Before that I made Rocky.
Doesn't Sylvester Stallone have one? The man himself.
Yeah, he have one. He does have one. He never, show it fully, in pictures, but you can see in various posts he has made, my figure, up there with his collection.
Man, being an artist like that and having the actual actor own it, that must feel pretty good.
Yeah, man, and I have to thank Odell for helping me, get the figure to him.
Odell did it. Him and his fucking hookups. He's always got like some sort of guy hanging out with what the hell is his name? Robert Englund, or he's hanging out with Candyman and
I don't know how he does it, but he I appreciate his help. Yeah, Freddie Mercury is my favorite release. Mm-hmm. Before that, I really did Rocky, but Street Rocky and Old Boy, but those were just head and clothing release. So I like those figures that I made, but I appreciate the Freddie Mercury because it is just my first figure.
So you only did head and clothing sets for the Street Rocky.
The Street Rocky was a head and clothing set.
And then what was the other one? Old Boy, yeah. So Old Boy was only a head and clothing set, huh? You didn't throw the body on, huh?
No. Everybody got their own body.
Interesting.
But yeah.
So what run would you like? I ask all the artists this. What figure would you like to redo? Like, you released it, and then once everybody started posing pictures and shit, you're like, I could have done this a little better. I could have done that. Or maybe you're perfect. I don't know. But I ask everybody.
No,
so what do you think?
I do have. I actually. Let me think about it. I
better not fucking say Teen Wolf, because that's my favorite figure of all time.
No, Teen Wolf. After Freddie Mercury, Teen Wolf is another project that I pretty much appreciate. I love it. I love the figure.
Such an amazing figure, bro.
I didn't choose it as my favorite, mostly because Freddie came first. So as for I don't know, it's very hard to answer that question because all my figures, as
you put so much love and passion into each one of them. I get it.
Each figure for me is kind of a stepping stone, to get better and get to a different level.
I like how you're very, very, you're always trying to get better at your craft. Yeah. You call yourself you're a student, and you're always trying to learn and to, develop, and I respect the hell out of that. So right now you're working on Mrs. Doubtfire, am I correct?
Yes. Doubtfire, yeah.
I tried to get Rain Man to do Mrs. Doubtfire for like 7 years, bro. I am fucking very very, very excited for your Mrs. Doubtfire. When does that go up on pre-order?
I'm still waiting on the prototype clothing. So after I have the clothing and the painted portrait, at least that head and clothing combo, I will start taking pre-orders. Actually, I'm not sure when. I hope in around September, maybe.
Speaking of clothing, how hard is clothing to get a hold of nowadays? Not only with the virus, because I saw that your Jim Morrison is on hold because of the tailors and the virus, but in general, like with every single person able to just email Iris or AdBlue or Yunsel, Tory Box, whatever, and just do a figure run, how frustrating is it as an artist to have to wait so long for clothing?
It is actually very, very frustrating because, I emailed Youngsil, asked her if he could help me with Morrison and Doubtfire, and she said no, because Morrison's vest is very, very
complex
hard to make. Yeah, very complex. And she turned down that project because of the complexity, and as well as Doubtfire. So after she turned down those two works, I was scrambling to see who was able to help me. And it is very frustrating. I listened to your last podcast when you said that we take too long to release a figure because of the clothing.
Yeah.
And that's true, man. It's very frustrating. I wish I have a Lupita, I have a Lupita next to me helping me, working like Beto does, or being able to make my own clothing like Once Customs,
Have you ever tried to make your own clothing?
Oh man, I was about to go learn how to sew, man. Because I was almost go to a class, how to sew real clothing. Then I was thinking, okay, I maybe shrink the way they do it, but no, man, it's a lot of work, between sculpting and painting, and I also do my own molding and casting. Man, it is a lot of work.
You know what, you artists got to get, okay, so once artists find like a legit ass, affordable for you, really high quality tailor, you need to put that fucking tailor in your back pocket and not say a word to anybody, and don't include their credits on the shit, and just have that be your little honey hole. Because once the sharks smell blood, sharks meaning, there's a guy that messaged me literally a week ago, and he goes, "Hey man, who makes these clothes? Who's really good?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And he messaged me back. He goes, "Oh, I heard Yunsel was good." And I'm like, "Yeah, they're good." And literally 2 days later, a kid that just came into the hobby is now fucking a run organizer, and Johnny can't get Yunsel to do Mrs. Doubtfire. So I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. That shit's always pissed me off.
Youngsil, she's still a business, and,
right.
if she
needs to make her money, but, at the same time, it's like Rain Man, like me as a collector, I want to see new figures done, and I want artists to be able to, provide their works to guys like me and my buddies, and that's really slowed down. Obviously, you keep close tabs on what's going on in the hobby, and you see that these artists aren't making as much figures as they used to, and it's like, as a collector, dude, all we have is Johnny, K. June, Beetle Metalli, Once Customs, and Scott.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Rain Man used to do like, okay, everybody clowns on me for being such a Rain Man jockey, but I loved his work, and obviously I still do, but I loved his releases. The shit would hype me up, and he simply quit because of he's like, dude, the clothing is way too fucking, the wait list is like a year and a half. Now, with that being said, I truly believe, like you said, Yunsel is a business, Tory Box, whatever. They need to make their money. That's very true. But I do believe that they should give artists such as yourself, K-June, Rain Man, they should give them a bump in line, because those are pretty much, essentially, those are the guys that put them, Tory Box, in the position they're in now. You know what I'm saying? You're promoting with your awesome work their product. They should give you a fucking at least a 6 months jump ahead of time. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking like an asshole, but I that's what I feel.
Well, I actually personally agree with you in a certain way. Like Yonsil, I remember when Rayman jumped ship and started using other tailors because Yonsil didn't have time for Rainman, and I said, "What the hell, man?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it wasn't for Rainman, Yonsil wouldn't be doing that good today. You know,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and and I don't know, man. I always thought that Yonsil was very, I don't know, like I don't know how to say this.
They're fucking good though, bro. Like they're good and they're affordable. Like people complain that they're expensive, but like Kato and AdBlue, like they're expensive. Like Yunsel's still like spendy, pricey, but she does great work.
She does she does awesome work. But yeah, her wait times and it's quite crazy, you know. I am working with a tailor here in my country. He's a personal friend.
Don't fucking say her name. Don't say her name, please.
No, I'm not gonna say his name. No.
Jesus Christ, we're gonna give everybody the plug on your shit.
No, he's the one helping me with my Jim Morrison. But you know, since he's in quarantine and stuff like that, he's not helping me right now. But you know, I'm instructing him, I'm teaching him, and he likes this little world, you know.
Right.
But he's also busy in his own business, so it's gonna take time. But I am trying to get him to this side, and you know, maybe work with me, you know, doing this kind of work. But let's see how that goes. But for now, I'm trying to, you know, look for other tailors.
Do you have a tailor? Do you have a tailor chosen for the Miss Doubtfire run, or not yet?
Yeah. There's one. I will. He's quite active. I think he's from Korea.
Nice.
So, but I'll announce and show everything once it's done.
Sweet. But that's gonna be awesome. And you said September, huh?
I hope. Sometime around September. Yeah, I hope. Yeah, it's taking his time. You know, I told him not to rush things, you know, to get it looking good, and it's looking good. You know, the pieces he showed me, I'm very excited. After, you know, Whitey Bulger, man, it's been hard to get something off the ground. I tried
to buy a Whitey Bulger yesterday or 2 days ago, but the guy won't ship because of the quarantine. That shit's fire too, bro. I noticed that you do 1/4 stuff too. You do a lot of like painting and like repaints and shit. If you had to choose, like as an artist, what do you prefer to work on? Like what is your preferred scale, if you will? 1/4, 1/6?
Oh man, 1/6 scale portraits, man. You know, figures, these kind of movie figures and stuff. I prefer this over everything else. You know, the 1/4 thing I'm doing, it's mostly, you know, to something I'm doing on my downtime. I don't know, just like when I'm not doing anything 1/6, you know, regarding figures. I'm doing this just, you know, so like to explore, you know, it's kind of an exploration in a way, you know. I spend time on this, you know, because making superhero portraits is just a random guy. It doesn't have to be, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio or anything like that. So it is kind of fun for me to explore different, you know, facial shapes for I don't know, for Wolverine or Cyclops and stuff like that.
I love it.
It is fun exploration, but it is not really something that I won't stop making 1/6 figures. You know, as long as I live, I try to keep doing. I have a big list of figures I want to make. I hope I can make this.
God, I love fucking hearing that so much. I'd hug you in person, but that'd be weird. Because I'm going to always collect this. My heart and soul is in 1/6. One of my biggest fears, I know that sounds weird, but like legit, one of my biggest fears is artists just stop making shit. Like going back to Rain Man. Like I talked to him, I'm like, hey, he's always like, hey, how's the virus down there? Blah, blah, blah. We shoot shit. And I'm like, hey, get your fucking ass back here and start making figures again. So I'm very, very glad to hear you say that you're not going to stop making figures, because we need you, Johnny. Like, more than you think. We need guys such as yourself. And this conversation, this podcast, I've grown in an all new respect and extreme soft spot for you, dude. You're a really cool, fucking nice, humbled, just.
I appreciate it, man.
Hats off to you, bro. I really appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, a few days ago, there's a collector. His name is Michael Taylor Murray.
Yeah.
He sent me a message. He told me, dude, let me read it for you.
Yeah, read that shit. Shout out to my boy Michael Taylor Murray.
Yeah, he said, hope you keep doing figure runs, bro. Always admire your work. Man, that really sparked, a little bit of, I don't know, passion, to keep doing this. I mean, I appreciate that message, because, sometimes you making 1/6 figures, seeing how saturated it is, you make decisions. If I make this and nobody wants it, because people prefer, like jokers, and you get a little bit frustrated,
I've never even thought of that. Like, I'm obviously not an artist, but yeah, as an artist, putting your heart and soul and passion into something, and then, being proud and, going through the struggles, the highs, the lows, the frustrations, and then putting it out for the public to purchase and then have them say that they don't want it. I couldn't imagine that feeling, dude. That must be fucking rough.
Yeah. And spending your time and your,
is this your full-time job? It's not my business, but this is your full-time job?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I kind of turned it into my full-time job.
So yeah, this is your career. This is your life. And for you to, put so much into it and then have somebody like, I don't want it. But going off the Michael Taylor Murray comment, you said it made you feel good. Like, I'll tell you this right now. I've had so many, like, dude, seriously, out of all the artists that are in this hobby, I've had more requests from people wanting to hear you on this podcast than anybody else in this hobby. People do appreciate you and what you're doing, man.
Oh man, it's humbling, it's an honor. It's humbling, to hear that. Sometimes we as an artist, we are just in our own little world, of sculpting and painting, and you don't always hear what other people are saying outside your own bubble,
right?
And hearing those things kind of, it's good to hear, man. Thank you so much, man.
Do you if you no problem, dude. It's the truth though. It's like people legit wanted to hear from Johnny. If you could, I had this guy ask me, and this is a random question, but I was like, damn, that's kind of a cool question. This is not the artist side of you. This is your collector side. If you could own any figure in the 1/6 custom figure hobby for yourself in your collection, like you say you don't have a collection right now, but if you had like one little detail, regardless of, the ridiculous aftermarket prices, if you could have one figure from any artist or one, what would it be?
Wow, that's
we put you on the spot again, huh, buddy?
Yeah, that's a very hard question. That's a very hard question to answer.
What figure? Like, you've been around, dude. You've seen the community. Yeah. You've seen the drama. You've seen all the bullshit. You've seen the collections. What figure? If you could have one figure, regardless of price, just push a button and the fucking thing would pop up right in your DTOF. Which figure would it be?
You know what figure? Maybe, and not because.
I don't want no maybe. I want it for sure, bro.
Oh man, it's hard. I actually bought a Reagan from Raymond.
Woo!
That's the only figure that made me want to get, and I have it. So
hold on, my recording thing got all fucked up. I don't know if it recorded that, but you said Reagan from Rain Man was your
Raymond, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when he made it, I actually just just wanted to buy it. That's actually the only figure that I actually wanted to buy. Oh, and another figure that I would love to have is K-Jung's. Oh man, I forgot the name. Man.
Oh
Come
boy, Raul Duke.
Yes, yeah, Raul Duke. Yeah,
Raul
yes.
Duke.
No,
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Yeah. I actually try to collect figures from at least one figure from my favorite artist, the artist that I follow, closely, that I call friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, I actually wanted to buy it, but he sold out. So
that's great figure.
Yeah. But you can say Reagan. You can say Reagan.
So you just bought it right now, or just recently? You said
the Reagan figure.
Yeah.
No, I bought it when he made it.
Oh, you bought it right when it released. Did you buy the version 1 or the version 2?
The one with the bat. I don't remember what version is that.
You have the version 2, but yeah, that's my preferred version, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
Oh man, so it's Reagan and or Raul Duke from K-Jun. Are you and K-Jun cool? Like, do you guys talk at all? That kid's like the nicest kid in the world.
Yeah, we're pretty good, friends, I guess.
So you guys talk a lot.
We chat from time to time, not talk a lot, but every time we exchange a conversation, it's very amicable. So yeah.
Do you guys like bounce like ideas and shit off of each other, or what?
Not really. We haven't gotten into that part of.
But you guys are just, like chill friends and shit.
Yeah. There was a time back then, a few years ago when he was starting. We talked about, doing a collaboration, but let's see where that goes.
How's the coronavirus in Costa Rica? Is it real or?
Yeah, it's pretty much, it's kind of a mess for me, because everything is it's slowed down. Airports are closed down for now.
Do you guys got to wear masks and shit? Like, I'm from America, right? So right now in America, for those of you watching or listening, the coronavirus in America is like a huge political thing now, because it's like Donald Trump and, it's just a fucking mess over here. And
I've been watching the news.
Yeah, it's just a shit show. Everybody's fucking stabbing each other and just body slamming people in the street and protesting, lighting fires. But I've always wondered, like, places like Costa Rica, like, if you guys are social distancing and like we can't go anywhere without a fucking mask on now. Like, do you guys got to wear masks and shit, or are you guys more chill?
We really have to practice social distancing and we have to wear masks.
So it's the same type of shit.
It's the same type, yeah.
And it's slowing down your fucking Jim Morrison vest.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of, got me frustrated, with 1/6, because it took me a while to put that together, to just, the coronavirus, to shut it down. And yeah, so I picked up Doubtfire instead, which was my next figure.
When you announced that fucking Doubtfire, bro, it made my heart flutter. No homo. I was like, damn, dude, this is gonna be fire. Like, please, right now, like when you get off the phone, put my name, number. You have taken names yet or not yet?
Not yet. The problem it's a very complicated lately. Taking names, because what happened with Whitey Bulger, I got around like 60 people, in line to buying it, to the ones that wanted to get in line.
Yeah.
And when it comes to taking pre-orders, it was hard to get 20 people in the.
Everybody says that they're down. Oh, that's amazing. I want. And then it's time to pay. And then people are just like, wait a minute. I got a button for that. I love my buttons.
And, I actually kind of hate trying to, chase people around, asking, "Hey, man, how are you doing?" Like,
Have you ever tried to have somebody work with you, like work for you?
I do have a colleague. His name is Ronald. He does help me around the studio. I I'm a little allergic to the resin dust. So every time I make a casting, he helps me, clean that up and prepare for painting. But that's the only help I have, but like in social media stuff, I do it myself.
I can see how that shit would be frustrating, dude. You already know I don't got patience and I'm kind of an asshole, so I'll just be like, you fucking pay, bro. Hurry up. It might not be a bad idea to have somebody, collector-wise, just, that's in the community and shit, be a part of that side of things. So you guys, you artists just need to be able to chill and focus on that. You don't have time to be saying, hey, payment plan, kid, it's time for you to pay your $45. You know what I'm saying? I think that's ridiculous. But
yeah.
How many Mrs. Doubtfires do you plan on making?
Oh, I'm thinking 30.
30.
The 30.
That's a nice
30.
number.
Yeah, I don't really want to go, beyond that number, because it's kind of a lot of work too.
How long does something like that take? Like once you have all the clothes, okay? Let's just say this. In a perfect world, tomorrow morning you wake up and at your doorstep is 35 outfits from Yunsol, from Mrs. Doubtfire. How long, once it's in your hands, does it take from opening those clothing packets to shipping those fucking figures out? How long does it take?
Taking into account that the heads are already painted, or
Nope. You have to paint the heads.
Okay. Well, I normally, when Youngsil was making the clothing, I normally was painting the heads at the same time.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah. So maybe.
Okay. The heads are painted, John. The heads are painted.
It used to be 3 months. It used to be 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
4 months tops. But right now, I guess 5 months, maybe.
Nice.
If I'm making Doubtfire now or taking pre-orders, we can see Doubtfire done, in 2021.
I am there, bro. I'm gonna be the first one sending payment because that looks awesome. I can't wait to see it all put together. And you said you found a tailor, so everything's good on that. It's just with this coronavirus and all these delays, it's pretty frustrating. But other than that, what are we doing? We're almost to an hour on the phone. It's this is usually around the time when I wrap things up. Is there anything you really wanted to talk about other than what we have touched on? Like,
I don't know. Do you have any other questions?
I had a bunch of questions that I wrote down, but I had my phone by the window because AT&T is a piece of shit. You probably don't know what that is. It's an American phone company. I just hate everything about them. So I wanted to talk about the Jim Morrison delay project. We already kind of touched base on that. I kind of wanted to ask you about I absolutely love that you love Robin Williams. The Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, man.
You've also done another Robin Williams, and it's not for sale, but it looks absolutely fabulous. I don't know if that was 3D printing or hand done, but it looks fabulous. You know what you need to do with that, bro? Let me tell you something. You ready? Are you listening?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Take that Robin Williams head that you have. You need to make a Jack. Bro, please. Do you ever seen Jack?
Jack. Yeah, no, I think that's the only movie I haven't watched.
Oh my God. Now, Jack is a story about a kid that ages really, really fast. So he's got like he's got like a beard and like hairy arms, and he's like a 10-year-old in like a 45-year-old body. And that film will make a grown man cry. And when I saw that sculpt, I was like, oh my God, that would be such a cool Jack. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to call you after this and we're going to talk. If you're not going to sell that head and you're not going to do a Jack, I would love to commission a Jack because The Sculpt is amazing. It's right around that time frame, and I love that movie. But you do have a soft spot for Robin Williams, am I right?
Yeah, man. He's one of my favorite actors. Regarding that Sculpt, it is actually a one-off for
that same guy that got the Undertaker, isn't it?
Yeah, for Hossam.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah,
what's
man.
What's that fucker's name?
Hossam. I don't know how.
Hey, guy with all the good ideas and the fucking commissions. Knock that shit off. I know who you're talking about. I don't know how to say his name. It's like Haas or some shit. He's a really cool guy, and he's got a fire-ass, really cool hat collection. He's got like really sweet collections. So you're telling me that he's gonna come through in the clutch like super hardcore and fucking commission you an original 1992 Undertaker, and then you're like, nah, sorry, can't sell it. Because let me tell you this though, Johnny, there's nothing more that I appreciate than an artist that stands by his word and says, this is a one-off, Joe. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna fucking make two. You get what I'm saying? Because artists now, they're like, all right, I'll, obviously you guys got to eat. You got to feed yourself. You got to fucking, support your families. But you have always stood by, this is a one-off, dude. This is a commission. It's not for sale. But back to that Hassad asshole. What's his name?
Hossam Saad.
Hey. I'm gonna message his ass, too. So you got all the good shit, bro. But no, that Sculpt looks amazing. So congratulations to that kid. But man,
that Sculpt is going to be Jumanji from.
Jumanji.
Alan Parrish, Jumanji.
Oh my God, Alan Parrish. What year is it?
Regarding the one-offs and stuff like that, I actually think that I have to keep my word. Because I cannot lie to myself. You know, I can make many Undertakers, under the table and sell them and tell people don't say anything about it.
Yeah.
But sooner or later you're gonna catch up to me.
Oh yeah.
And
you know what you're doing? You know what it's called? Okay, so I'm not saying you, but a lot of over the years. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. I've noticed that these artists, they're so talented, they're so good at their craft, but what they're not good at, and I'm not at all saying you because obviously I just told you that you're good at it, but what artists aren't good at is the business side of things. They do not, quote unquote, protect their brand. Now, Johnny Cheung Kinmen is a brand by not doing a one-off and then not selling them under the table. All you're doing is protecting your brand. And a lot of artists, they come and go because they just don't, they're just in it for the quick dollar and they don't protect their fucking label. And you maybe it's because you used to be a collector, but you have your head on straight. And, me and my buddy Tim have talked about it a lot. Tim Samra, shout out to my buddy Tim. Yeah. He's a really, really, really smart business-minded guy. He's, a self-made fucking millionaire in hot toy era. And he does a lot of hot toy stuff, and he owns super bad action figures and shit. And he always used to tell me, he's like, the problem with this shit is artists just water their own fucking name down and they don't even give a shit. So by you saying, hey, this is a one-off and it's going to stay a one-off, like, my hat's off to you. I mean, my hat's on right now, but it's metaphorically off. Yeah. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, I think that my name is I'm not saying that it should be important, but I want my name to be, when someone hears my name, Cheung Kinmen, I want them to think that, someone with integrity, someone that keeps his word. Yeah. I don't want people to say, oh man, yeah, he's a great artist, but he's doing a bunch of figures
right
under the table, and I don't want that. I want people to think highly of me. You know, I'm not if that's kind of an ego or something, but there's something I wanted to share maybe here.
Yeah.
For those who have my Peter Pan figure, I am making a new portrait for that statue, for that figure.
You're making a new portrait, meaning you're gonna hit up the ZBrush.
No, it's already done. I just need to paint it.
Oh, really?
But,
So you're gonna offer everybody an alternate head sculpt, possibly, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
An updated version of that portrait.
Wow.
Now, this is only available to those who have my Peter Pan figure. I'm not going to be selling it, to the public.
Separately. So, have you announced that yet on your Facebook or anything?
No, not yet. This is.
Figure it out.
Right now.
Figure it out. Exclusive news. Cheung Kinmen will be offering a new, updated head sculpt for his Peter Pan for those who own it. Those who don't own it, you can kick rocks because we ain't trying to water down Cheung Kinmen's name. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was never. Well, I was happy with the portrait I did, but as an artist, like always try to better myself. I sometimes see stuff that I could have done better. So this is my way of doing it better right now.
So the question that I asked you earlier, if you could go back and redo anything, it would have been your Peter Pan head sculpt then.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Peter Pan head sculpt.
I've been trying to buy that figure, by the way. So Alan, if you're watching this, Alan Gonzalez or whatnot, you need to please sell me the Freddie or sell me the Peter Pan. But you're offering a new head. That's sweet.
Shout out to Alan Gonzalez. He's a great guy.
He is a good guy. He's like your number one fan too. He's one of the guys that have been nonstop. Like, hey man, where's my friend Johnny on this? He's like really, really, really supportive, and you're his favorite artist, man. And he's got some really sick pieces. So
I thanks, man. What I wanted to say, regarding the ZBrush and traditional sculpture thing. I know people, appreciate something done traditionally, but, I just wanted to say that don't deny an artist from expressing himself. Whatever medium they choose to work on, the end result will always be the product of his passion. So,
wow, bro, did you write that shit down? You said that really well. So say that one more time.
Yeah. Don't deny an artist from expressing himself. Whatever medium they choose to work on, the end results will always be a product of his passion.
You fucking wrote that down. I know you did because you said it exactly the same way, and that gave me goosebumps. Look at my goosebumps. You can't see them, but you gave me goosebumps, bro. All that shit I was talking about 3D sculpting before. Are you trying to say something to me? Hello?
What? No. Yeah.
No, dude, it's cool. No. I fucking love it, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to share this because I know people, say that ZBrush thing, the ZBrush thing is made by the computer, but actually there's a human, there's a person with passion, with soul, moving the pixels around.
The people that talk shit about 3D printing, bro, like I don't necessarily hate on it, but like in the beginning, a few years ago, you have to realize like the people that are not necessarily for it and prefer the traditional sculpting, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They just think, I go on some of these groups and I scroll through these groups and I see guys that I've never even heard of saying a project I'm working on, here's a new project, and they have like the 3D printing heads and I saw some pumpkins and some accessories. So, collectors that don't know how this shit works, they see that and they're like, wow, everybody can do this now. So they appreciate it less a little bit, but they don't understand. Now, earlier in the podcast, you mentioned, you explained to everybody what it takes and like the shit that goes into it. So, you changed my mind on it for sure. And, I don't know nothing about it, so I can't say nothing about it. But that last quote you said gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, I know people, appreciate the time the artists spend with a traditional sculpt. because
Right.
he's touching it and trying to move the clay around. But if we go back to the masters, to the old school masters,
Yep.
they use a chisel and a hammer, to take to work on stone. They don't even touch the stone. They use a tool to chip the stone around. So
It's basically like using a chisel and a hammer. ZBrush is like a chisel and a fucking hammer.
Yeah, you don't even touch it. So yeah, until you print it. But that's another.
That's a
another
very
thing.
interesting way of saying it for sure, man. Again, I'm
Also-
gonna put your little quote on the bottom. Sweet.
There's another thing that artists have to actually get on with the technologies and everything else. And if we go back in time, Sculpting is what everybody is using right now.
Mm-hmm.
K.A. Kim, sculpts in Super Sculpting.
She's phenomenal.
yeah.
Like fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous.
she's awesome. I don't know what those Koreans have in the water they drink, but man, everybody is it's an awesome artist over there.
That's why I thought you were Korean, Johnny. All you fucking Koreans, like you're not Korean, but all the Koreans, man, there's something in the water, like you said. They're just talented.
Yeah. You know what it is? I think there's so many great artists in Korea. It becomes kind of a think tank of ideas.
Yeah.
Everybody feeds from it. Like there's a quote saying, "Birds of a feather flock together."
Yeah.
And if you have a big pool of great artists, everybody is going to try to better themselves, it's kind of a friendly competition, I guess. If you're in a place where you don't get competition, you're not competing, with everybody or with yourself, your growth, it's very slow.
Yeah.
So that's why I am always trying to stay a student, an open book, because not saying that in Costa Rica they're not great artists, but in this area that I'm working on, there's very few people, so I have to look for inspiration, outside the country.
Well, with that mindset,
that's
bro,
why-
you're gonna end up one of the greatest with that mindset, bro. 100%.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. Yeah.
I love it. So, is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or is that?
That's all, I guess.
That's all. Well, for right now, maybe we can get you back on for like a part 2 or whatever. If anybody watching is new and doesn't know nothing about Mr. Johnny Jerome Cheung Kinmen, I'm going to put his link to his Facebook and his link to his Instagram in the description. So please be sure to go down there and check it out. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. He does frequent updates of all his current projects, and oh man, this has been like a really refreshing time for me, man. It's been the first time, actually, like we've talked a lot back and forth on Facebook, but this is the first time that I've actually talked to you on the phone. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thoroughly appreciate I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. Like you said earlier, like me and you have both been so busy, it's been hard to find a time, but I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us on Figure It Out. And I love you like a brother, my friend.
Thanks, man. No, it's been an honor, man, being here. I love your podcast. Every time you release one, I just listen to it while I'm working, and
sorry,
I think it is very refreshing because you're giving a voice to collectors, to artists in this hobby, and trying to make people understand what's going on, because people new that is going into the hobby thinks that 1/6 custom figures is the same as a Hot Toys figure,
right. And
quality wise, it kind of depends on who's making the figure or whatever, but it's still a custom figure, and it's another world. It's not the same as just collecting a Hot Toys figure. You said in one of your podcasts, you said that it is a shame that the custom is 1/6 scale too. People confuse both, and it is a shame that 1/6 customs is the same scale as a Hot Toys figure, because people can't tell them apart.
Yeah, it's the same concept. So everybody's like,
Yeah,
oh well, this is 12 inches tall and it's got real clothing. It's the same thing, and it's really not. Like, if you go through all my other podcasts, I get more into it, but
Yeah.
those of you listening right now, I mean, as you can see, like Johnny, this is his entire life. This is his passion. This is his work, and his whole life goes into it. Yeah, exactly. So I don't, you can't find somebody that respects it more than my ass. I absolutely appreciate it to the core of my soul, and I hope that you continue to do, you know what I'm saying, what you're doing, because this is an escape for a lot of people, like from the real world and the real struggles. And to some weird angle or degree, you could be, with your work, you could be, saving somebody from a very dark place. So your work is very much appreciated, dude. Like, it really is.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So other than that, what are we doing? We're looking at like an hour and 15 minutes. So yeah, man, I gotta bounce this shit, and I don't got a lot of memory because I'm not very tech savvy. But other than that, we're gonna bounce out again. Everybody, check the description. Johnny Cheung Kinmen. Johnny, would you like to say goodbye to your viewers?
Just thank you, guys. Thanks for listening, and see you later.
Yeah. So until then, guys. Stiff Richards, Johnny Cheung Kinmen, we are out this bitch. Later.